What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to the land of Reckless Logic. Please make sure you guys pop that like button, hit the subscribe button, and please smack that notification bell so do not miss any of my posts from me. Let's get straight into this video. Alrighty, guys, how are you guys doing today? Welcome to the land of Reckless Logic. As you guys can already tell, that we're gonna be getting into the Real Housewives of Potomac, and we're gonna get into the colorism issue that seems to be a very active thing, issue on that specific franchise. But before I do that, I do want to run my fair use and explicit content disclaimer. So let's get straight into it, y'all. Disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, always constructive. Comment down below. News reporting, I guess that's what we doing. Teaching, hopefully y'all learn something. Scholarship, we ain't got no money. Education and research so you can get a nasty piece of degree. Okay? Fair use is the use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Okay, let me make sure everything's going good. Hey, how you doing today? What's going on? Yeah, how you doing today? I gotta make sure everything's going good because, baby, everything's just been going cool for Cocoa Puffs on my end. Let me see. Hold up, y'all. Give me 2.5 seconds while everybody is coming in. I want to make sure that everything on my end is going much more smoother. Today has been like kind of a busy day for me, honestly, y'all. I've been moving around. I've been doing 45 different things all today, but today's gonna be good. Okay, so let me do this real quick. Okay, so we're gonna talk about the Real Housewives of Potomac. I meant to do this video yesterday, but like I've been telling you guys, I have a training that I have to get to. So with all that being said, a lot of moving parts have been happening. So let's get straight into this. Okay, so yeah, let's talk about the Real Housewives of Potomac, the reunion. So first things first, let's get into the looks. Let me pull this bad boy up real quick for you guys, so you guys can, if you guys have not seen already, so you guys can actually get a good look on what the people were serving, who looked a mess, who didn't, who brought it, who didn't, who had potential, who could have just stayed home or just burnt their dress. Let's just get straight into who had it and who didn't. Okay, so as you guys can already see, if you guys do not know who the cast members are, I'm going to start from left to right. So on the left-hand side, we have Mia Thornton. Then we have Robin Dixon. We have Candace Dillard. Then we have Karen Hugler. Of course, in the suit, we have Andy. Right next to Andy, we have Giselle Bryant. We have Ashley Darby. And then we have Wendy. Now, her last name, I always butcher. Osufa, girl, something. Girl, I always butcher her last name. No shade. Okay, so let's get into the looks. Now let's start with Mia. Mia, I'm gonna be honest with you. Her look, I did not like her look. I feel like she should have threw it in the trash can. I felt like, for me personally, now keep in mind I'm not deep into fashion. I felt like when she was sitting down, I like the top half of the look, but when she began to stand up, as you guys can see in the picture, I wasn't really feeling it. It wasn't really my cup of tea. It was giving more of sparkling water, and I'm not really too much of a big fan of sparkling water like that. And another thing I have noticed, of course, it's obvious, but another thing when it comes down to these looks and stuff, yeah, come on, rumors of tea, me and you right here. When it comes down to these looks and stuff, yes, these looks can look pretty, or they can look elegant standing up. But for the reunion, you're going to be sitting down. So these looks also have to come together and pull together while you're sitting down as well. But yeah, Mia's look, I was not here for. And to be completely honest, do I believe that Mia should come back next season? No. Mia has done too much. She has said too much. Honestly, I feel like the lady is a liability. No shade. She gives me Portia Williams tease. As in, like, when they're in the heat of the moment, they'll say anything. Now, don't get me wrong. She's not the only liar on this cast, but I do believe her and Giselle are the most toxic and dangerous when it comes down to their lives. But I'm gonna continue. Now, right next we have Miss Robin Dixon. Now I will say this: me personally, I liked Robin's dress. I felt like it had potential. Now I'm not gonna. I'm gonna say it had potential. I kind of go back and forth in terms of Robin and her dress. But with Robin's dress, I felt like it looks like it has the potential. I just felt like if she probably would have added a necklace, like some jewelry and stuff, I felt like it would have amplified the look, especially if she would have had like some silver jewelry. It would have made like the silver outline of her dress like pop more. I felt like her neck is naked. I felt like if she would have had like a big elegant type of necklace, that would have helped made it pop. Something on the wrist would have made it pop. And also I felt like, I don't know, I felt like the hair. I felt like she would have changed her hair up. Would did something different with her hair. I felt like it would have brought it together much better. But then again, once again, I'm not deep into fashion. These are just my opinions. I don't know. I ain't no fashion designer. Now let's move over to Candace. Now Candace look, I'm gonna be honest with you, her look had potential. And what I mean by that is this. Her look, I felt like because I felt like with her specific dress, I felt like if they would have had more feathers, or they would have had, I felt like if they would have had more feathers for Candace's dress, I felt like she could have really pulled it off for me. I'm just gonna be honest. But when I seen that looks like it just was missing feathers, or the person, or I don't know what, maybe that was the look they were going for. I don't know. But I felt like if they would have had more feathers on her dress, I felt like she really would have pulled that look off for me personally. But I felt like the look had potential. Now, Karen's look, I'm gonna say she looked better than some, but I felt like if they would have altered, I feel like when it came down to her, this one arm out and this one arm covered up, I felt like if they would have had both arms out, we probably would have been better, in my personal opinion. But then again, once again, y'all, I'm not deep into fashion. Y'all take all of this with a grain of salt. And for the real fashionistas out there, they probably saying this bitches sound like a fool. I'm just saying, what a break. But I felt like it had potential. I just felt like in terms of the dress, I feel like if they would have altered a few things, it would have really made it pop for real. But all these dresses, for the most part, are giving prom dress tees. No shade, especially Karen, especially with that fabric. All right, so let's get into Giselle. Giselle looks a hot ass mess. Giselle looks a hot ass mess. I am not here for Giselle's look. Giselle's looked so cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Then again, people have been getting on her about her fashions for the longest. Let's just call a spade, and let's also be honest as well. Who really looks at Giselle for fashion? No one really turns to Giselle for fashion. No one really looks at Giselle and be like, okay, this is the fashion girl. I need to take notes from her. I really truly believe when it comes down to fashion, they actually turn the other way and they run away from her. Now, to be completely honest, on the show, the best dressed I felt like consistently would be Wendy. I feel like Potomac, Wendy, I'm gonna say Wendy and Karen, but Candace is kind of 50-50 for me personally. But I will say this, that in terms of the Potomac girls, they don't really give looks like that. Like I really don't be expecting looks like, you know, if you were to go on to Real Housewives of Atlanta or Real Housewives of Miami or etc., you be like, okay, these girls are finna serve it. They finna give us some looks. They finna give us, you know, some glam and da-da-da. But honestly, in my personal opinion, when I look at Real Housewives of Potomac, I really don't expect this grand, like these grand scenes and grand entrances when these girls step through, honestly. But if I had to pick, I would say Wendy consistently would be the best dressed, honestly. Now, like I said, Giselle looked a mess. I don't know what the hell I don't know who the hell made that. The hair, not here for it. The dress, not here for it. I just can't do it. yeah, try again next year. And but however, with that being said, yeah, Giselle needs to fire her glam team. I feel like they secretly hate her. Well, then again, if that's the point, if that is the case, then she needs to keep them around. If they're really trying to set her up, they really need to keep her around. She needs to keep them around only because simple fact that she goes around trying to set people up. So what you put out there is what you get back. No shade. Ashley, I like Ashley. Now, honestly, okay. Let me go back before I get to Ashley. Let me just say this. Now, let me go back to Robin. I'm not a fan of Robin. I do not like Robin. Robin to me is a big giant hypocrite. Robin to me is one of the green eye bandits, aka Giselle. I'm not really a fan of Robin. Now I will say this. I don't know if Robin's gonna be back next season, because if you actually take a look at the Real Housewives franchise history, whenever they start to play flashbacks of what the girls said consistently, as in like, you know, catching them in lies or things that they said, you know, in different seasons and stuff, that typically means that they're probably going to get the boot. And if you guys have not been keeping up, Robin and Juan are having issues because Juan allegedly has been cheating or sleeping around town with other women, woman or women. I don't know if that's singular or plural, all around, you know, all over the states or whatever. So apparently Robin, from what people are saying, Robin, quote unquote, already knew this while she was filming. But the thing is, she did not disclose that information. Baby. So when all of that information came out and they started to give Robin all these flashbacks, I was like, yep, she just might get the boot. She just might get the boot. She just might get the boot. Because, baby, they did the same thing when it came to Phaedra on season 9 at that reunion. They was doing a whole bunch of flashbacks of everything that she thought she said and she really didn't say and what really happened. They did the same thing with Kim Zolciak on season 10. Well, season 10, I believe that was season 10, when they was tearing her ass up. Nene and Kenya was tearing her ass up and Candy was tearing her ass up. When Sheree as well, that same reunion, when she was like, oh no, I don't believe that happened. Then they showed a clip of her contradicting herself and actually admitting that she knew something happened. Baby, Robin finna get the boot. But yeah, Robin, not a fan of her. Candace, I actually like Candace. My first time watching Real Housewives of Potomac was season 5. Season 5 is the season where that was Wendy's first season, Monique's last season, the actual big giant fight that happened between Candace and Monique or whatever. So for me, I didn't have a lot of nuance in terms of the relationship between Monique and Candace. But I will say this. At first, I wasn't really too much of a big fan of Candace. But then once I got to know a little bit more about her, I actually like her this season. I love Candace. I love that she's very articulate. What's going on? Hey. But I love that she's very articulate. I love that she stands her ground. And we're going to get into that most definitely. And I love the fact that she gathers the girls. She gathers them. I love Candace. Love her, love her, love her. Now Karen, I like Karen. I really do like Karen. But Karen be lying too. Karen be lying her ass off. And it's like, I will say this though. Even though I will say this. Forgive me, I'm over here drinking some water. Make sure I'm not dehydrated. Hey, but I will say this though. In terms of Karen, she's not a huge. I'm not gonna say she's not a huge liar because the girl be lying like a motherfucker. But she's not a liar. I'm gonna say on the same degree as like Mia and Giselle. When they tell lies, their lies can damage someone's life or damage somebody's reputation, brand, or business. Karen, when she lies to try to cover up, I'm gonna say this. When Karen lies, when she lies, she's lying to be able to cover her own ass. Like, these lies don't damage anyone. These lies don't ruin businesses. But the lies that Karen tell is just lies, as in be like, okay, girl, you lying, and we know you lying, but since this doesn't really affect me fully, whatever, girl. Honestly, just to be completely honest. Now, Giselle, I'm not a fan of Giselle. Giselle is dangerous. Giselle is full of shit. Giselle, not a big fan. Honestly, when it comes down to Giselle, I know Bravo probably wouldn't get rid of Giselle, but if they could get rid of her, I would want them to get rid of Giselle. No shade. Especially after what she did to Chris. Yeah, she needs to go. But do I think that's going to happen? Probably not. Unless they get somebody else that's going to really stir the pot the same way Giselle likes to and deflect, then they'll let her go. I'm just saying. Now, Miss Ashley, I liked Ashley's look. Now, in terms of Ashley, I liked her look. I'm not really a fan of Ashley, honestly. To be completely honest, she's kind of annoying to me, especially in this reunion. She was very annoying to me. She was like obnoxious. Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of Ashley. And also, too, I like to watch other reviews and stuff of the show, and I kind of get background knowledge to kind of catch me up, especially the reviewers who have been watching the show since season 2, season 1, etc. Apparently, Ashley was hell on wheels. Now, to my understanding, she's talked about people's mental health, Katie's mental health. She talked about all different types of things. She was a big giant instigator, but for some reason, it seemed like the fans done forgot who the hell Ashley was because she ended up having a baby. I don't know how the hell that is, but hey, I'm not really a big fan of Ashley. Will Ashley come back? Probably. Am I a big fan of Ashley? Hell to the no. Now, I will say this. Now, we got Miss Wendy. Now, Wendy slayed her look. Wendy looked, to me, in my personal opinion, Wendy was the best dressed, but that's per usual. Wendy looked the best. I loved her hair. I loved her dress. Loved her shoes. Very stunning. Now, keep in mind, once again, I am not certified in fashion, but from my eyes, looking onto the screen, she looks awesome, and she looks the best dressed to me, honestly. Just to be completely honest with you. But yes, I love Wendy. Her first season, season 5, I wasn't too much of a fan of Wendy, but the season after the fact, when she was put into the hot seat, that's when I really fell in love with Wendy, because she was able to read the girls, gather the girls, and really gather them in a very articulate way. And I was here for it. I was like, yes, ma'am. Now, I done said all of that. Let's get into this ignorant ass reunion. Let me see. But Reckless, why is she slouching like that? It isn't a flattering pose. But hey, girl, you'd be surprised. But girl, they be having poses like this. Be doing that Nicki Minaj pose. They be having poses like this, like this, like this, like that. Girl, they got poses everywhere. I'm just saying. So hey, if she love it, if she like it, I love it. No shade. All right, so let's get into this. Let's actually get into this ignorant ass reunion. Now, let's talk about the colorism that's actually on the show. Now, part 3, well, really it was part 2. Well, one of these parts, they spoke on the colorism issue because colorism was a topic of discussion, and it was pushed to the forefront because it seemed to be a difference in the way that Candace, Wendy, and I'm also going to go to a couple of seasons back, how Monique was treated in certain situations compared to Giselle, Robin, them two, Giselle, Robin, Ashley, and Mia, and also Karen were treated, because it seemed like whenever Wendy, Monique, or Candace did something, they were treated much more harsh compared to the rest of the cast. So let's get into it. So first thing, okay, so I do want to bring up the actual colorism on the actual show, and let's talk about the situation when the differences when it came down to Wendy and Monique. Now, if you guys are not aware what happened with Monique, Monique had a situation with Candace where her and Candace were going back and forth, and they ended up getting into a physical altercation. Now, when it got to the physical altercation, all hell broke loose, and then they ended up having, I'm gonna say like the next day, because girl, only God knows when they actually met up. The next day, they met up at someone's house. I forgot whose house it was, and they wanted clarification from Monique of what happened, because Monique essentially beat Candace up. It took roughly, I'm going to say like 7 to 8 people, and I'm not even exaggerating. It took production and the rest of the cast members to get Monique off of Candace. She wanted Candace's head bad. No shade. So in this meeting, essentially, what was said throughout the whole season was they called her a bad representation of for black women. They called her essentially a bad mother. You're a bad representation of being a mother. They said that they treated her like she was a threat, especially Giselle. When Giselle entered that meeting, she came with security, and then they iced her out of the group, except for 2 people. That would be Karen and Ashley. Now, in terms of, I want to explain the whole icing out the group for those who don't get it. When you are on a reality TV show and you are part of a cast, whenever you're shooting with your cast members, and this is an ensemble, you want to interact with the cast members so you can, of course, be part of the show. Now, the reason why being iced out is very dangerous when you're part of a cast is because if you can't shoot with the rest of the cast, then how are you going to be able to make quote unquote content or still be relevant within the show? You get what I'm saying? So they tried to ice her out. Now let's look at the flip side of, actually, before we do that, there was a time where Monique and Candace were going back and forth that Candace actually pressed charges against Monique. Ashley actually came to the defense of Monique and, helped write a statement. So basically, Monique can, I guess, essentially press charges back and then cancel out the lawsuit or the charges or whatever. So the charges were dropped because essentially they're saying that this was a fight. This was not an attack. This was an actual fight. Now let's look at the flip side of this. The flip side, and now we're going to get to Miss Wendy. Now, Wendy and the rest of the cast, I want to say I forgot exactly where they were. I want to say, was it Mexico? I forgot exactly. No, was it Miami? It was somewhere. I think it was Miami. There was somewhere. I believe it was Miami. And Wendy and Peter Thomas. Now, Peter Thomas from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. He's a former cast member, former husband of a cast member, Cynthia Bailey. And Wendy and him were supposed to go into like business dealings with each other. And Mia, and it was Miami. Okay, I knew it was one of them because I'm like, they had 2 trips. It was something going on. But Wendy and Peter, they're supposed to have a business dealings going on. But keep in mind as well, Mia and Peter are supposed to be friends. So Peter apparently had some frustrations or some issues, concerns when it pertains to Wendy, and he voiced those concerns to Mia. Mia took it upon herself to try to address it to Wendy at the table when they were like at a restaurant. Now, the 2 ended up having an exchange. Essentially, Mia wanted to know, why do you not call him? Why did you not link up with him? If you got a business deal, if it's about business, you should be on top of your shit. Wendy, on the other hand, said, he's not my husband. I wasn't even in that specific town for business, so I didn't hit him up. Even though she did actually hit him up, he just didn't hit her back up. But I digress. The 2 get into it. All of a sudden, Mia takes it upon herself to take a martini glass and throw it across from Karen and tried to hit Wendy because Wendy was like 2 chairs over. Karen was the only person in between the two. So Wendy almost gets hit. Mia gets up, tries to fight Wendy, throws her purse at Wendy, and then really tries to attack her. Robin decides she wants to pull out her phone and try to tell Wendy that if you're going to fight, then fight. But if you don't want to fight, then you need to be quiet. Essentially gaslighting the situation. Now, let's take a look at what happened. Wendy was attacked. She was gaslit by Gizelle and Robin. She was made to be the villain, even though she was the actual victim in the situation now. And then everybody went to Mia's aid instead of Wendy's aid. So let's dissect this. So this is the colorism that we refer to on the show. So the colorism is that. So you mean to tell me? So in terms of Monique beat somebody ass, right? Snatched Candace the hell up. Damn near snatched her ball because her wig was like this. It was coming off by that point. Y'all said she was a bad representation for Black women. You said that she was a bad mother, essentially, and she was a threat. Now, Mia may not have actually laid physical hands on Wendy, but essentially she did exactly the same shit. Tried to fight her. It took people to hold her back, throwing drinks, throwing her purse. I believe that was her purse. I'm gonna say throwing items. But in Mia's and Wendy's situation, everybody goes to coddle Mia. Are you okay? Oh my God, what happened? But even though she's the one that actually attacked Wendy, and then essentially, to be completely honest, she's the one that even started the whole situation, because to be completely honest, the situation between Wendy and Peter, that's between Wendy and Peter. That has nothing to do with you. You inserting yourself in a situation that got nothing to do with you at all. So now let's get into Miss Robin, girl. I mean, not Miss Robin, Gizelle, girl. So let's also talk about Gizelle. Now, in terms of Gizelle, what gets me with Gizelle is this thing where she literally she comes up with allegations, lies about Chris. Really about everybody. She does it every year. But she comes up with allegations about Chris, saying that he made her feel uncomfortable. Now, here's the thing. Gizelle is not a dumbass. And here's the thing. I'm not a dumbass. She did that on purpose, and she left those comments very vague only because she wanted the audience to use their imagination to lead them down the right road to be able to fill in the blanks. Then, if she said that he made her feel uncomfortable and that he needs to apologize for what he did to me. Those are the two things that she said. And she purposefully did not go into detail about those quote unquote allegations, because she knew that us, the audience, or at least y'all, the audience, because I ain't do it, because I'm like, girl, what you mean? Y'all, the audience, the viewers, was going to do her dirty work and get to attacking this man. Especially knowing that we do live in a Me Too movement time and era. And those type of allegations stick and are very dangerous on both sides of the spectrum. They're dangerous if they're weaponized by the said person that's the accuser, and it's also dangerous if we don't believe the accuser. So those situations have to be handled with care, and she's very aware of those things. That's the reason why she never wanted to go into detail, because she knew what was going to happen. And like Candace said on the reunion, you seen her for 6 months straight. You had a period. There was a period. Different periods in time that you've seen me, and you just so happen to have an issue as soon as the show begins to start airing. That's when you have an issue. You didn't have an issue 6 months before when there was no cameras, even though this happened previously. But now you have an issue because now we're rolling and now we're taping. She's so full of it. And then on top of that, you have other things going on in your life. And to be completely honest, I'm about to just say, essentially, you had your own uterus snatched out of your body, and you're so focused on trying to create allegations to destroy a family who hasn't done anything to you. Make it make sense. Let me do this real quick. Let me fix this. Hold up. Make it make sense. She was like, oh, because once Candace actually brought it to attention, like, yo, you seen me at, I want to say like her EP, like it was some party that she had. She like, why did you not say nothing then or around that time, whatever? She was like, so I can tell you right after you have your big moment. And so Candace like, so you decide to tell me on a reality TV show that has millions of viewers? She knew what she was doing. Giselle is not dumb. She's not. And another thing too that's crazy is that and this is the reason why I say she would never even be a Nene, should never be a Kenya, should never be anything like that, because literally what she would do, she would kick up mess throughout the whole season, and then when she sits at the reunion, and Anya, you already know, I already told you this, when she sits at the reunion, she literally looks like a deer in headlights when they are confronting her about her BS. Every single season, this has happened. When it came down to Monique, she was looking like a deer in headlights because Monique had that binder tearing her ass up. When it came down to Wendy was tearing her ass up because the shit that she said about Wendy wanted to have plastic surgery, quote unquote, to keep a man. She did it this season when Candace was tearing her ass up about the allegations that she made about Chris. That was that she would never ever be a Nene, Kenya. She would never be that. Like, yes, she can kick up mess, but the thing about it is that she has this thing to where, let's just call a spade a spade. I'm gonna bring this up later, and this is kind of what Candace was saying, is that essentially Giselle is a melanated Karen. She's a light-skinned Karen. She likes to kick up mess, and then when she's confronted, oh, what do you mean? Girl, what you mean? You said all that shit. Like, case in point, when Candace was bringing up that Giselle said some real foul stuff throughout the season, what are you talking about, Candace? Like, what do you mean? What happened? What are you talking about? And then when Candace answered the question and answered it directly, she literally said this. You calling my husband that he's a sneaky link. You saying that he did something to you. What did he do? Finally, he ain't do nothing. Oh, and then after they have to refresh her memory, all of a sudden it's oh yeah, I apologize for that. But you knew you said that. She's not to be trusted. She is not to be trusted. No shade. She's not to be trusted. And to be completely honest, another part of the colorism is that name a time where Nene, Kenya both have stirred the pot throughout the whole season and just sat there. Name a time where they have stirred the pot throughout the whole season and had the first chair. And it seemed like this is gonna be my new thing of me having something in my hand, because it seemed like something just happens to me when I just have something in my hand. I can just talk to y'all. Name a time in the season to where Nene and Kenya were both in the first two chairs, and they stirred the pot. They said what they said, and now all of a sudden, when it's time for the castmates to come for them and confront them, they can just sit there. I'll wait. Because even when it came to times where Nene would be like, try to shut down and be like, okay, you're right, I'm wrong, that the whole cast will still be on her ass. The whole Candy be on her ass, Kenya be on her ass, Claudia be on her ass, Cynthia be on her ass, Shamaria be on her ass, Tanya be on her ass. It's never happened. Kenya, season 6, the whole cast, including the husbands, were on her ass. I'm just gonna be honest. Like, let's just call a spade. Not never, right? Never happened. Now, another thing too is that how another part of the colorism works is how Gizelle's able to make these allegations, but she's not treated the exact same way that certain allegations have got other people in trouble. What I mean by that is this. She literally accused Chris of sexual assault. Then when we have Miss Phaedra Parks, and y'all know I'm not a big fan of Phaedra, but when we have Miss Phaedra Parks that accused Candy of doing the exact same thing, Phaedra got the boot. Gizelle, because let's call a spade. Gizelle still, I didn't see no flashbacks of Gizelle or anything like that. And plus, she's going to be on Ultimate Girls Trip. So with that being said, she's going to be back next season. And let's also talk about some more colorism. Gizelle, more of Robin, had stuff going on in their life, but did not disclose that information to production. You're getting paid to be a full-time cast member on a reality TV show, and you decide to not disclose your reality. But yet you are still receiving the pay and the luxury of being a full-time. Now, Potomac, I forgot now. Peaches are for the Atlanta crew. I wonder, a full-time cast member, because I don't know what fruit they hold in their hand. So I remember a time when another cast member did the exact same thing. They was fired for one season and demoted when they came back. That was who? Miss Kenya Moore. When Kenya did not disclose certain information about her reality. And then once production found out, Kenya was fired for one season. And then when she came back the following season, she was demoted. She was a friend of the show, but I believe she was paid like a friend of the show, but she was still a full-time cast member. But let's get into it. So let's actually get into the actual reunion. Now, in terms of the actual reunion, girl. Girl. In terms of this actual reunion, it pissed me off. It pissed me off because it irks my spirit when I see people who aren't qualified to speak on certain issues, or they don't have the proper information, education to speak on societal issues, but yet they are the loudest in the room. That is what irks my spirit. No shade. But I'm going to play some clips. And we're going to go through Twitter. I'm going to play some clips. We're going to go through Twitter. And let me do this. Bye-bye. Let me do this real quick. You guys, make sure you guys thumbs up. Let me see what you guys are saying down here. Let me see. You're right. I meant she was like Kenya in sense of stirring the pot to keep the show going. Yeah, she stirs the pot. But to be honest, I feel like this. I feel like, yes, Gizelle does stir the pot, but I feel like she gives Portia Williams tease or Phaedra Parks without the reading. And what I mean by that, she's going to tell lies to stir the pot. And these lies can really damage people's lives. And like, if you actually go back and look, Kenya, everything she said about Portia and Phaedra all came to be true. All came to be true. Portia is a big giant liar. She just lie. Everything she said out her mouth is lying. Like, literally, there was a situation with her and Candy, the last season. There was a situation with her and Candy, and where Candy decided she wanted to do something good for, melanated people on Bravo, executives, producers, etc., trying to help the cause for melanated people being in the field. Portia took issue with that, and so they had a on-camera fight, discussion, argument. And so what Portia did, now this all came from Kenya. What Portia did, she's basically told production that she did not want that to be part of the show. Portia decided that she wanted to go live and address what Kenya said. Now keep in mind too, Candy is not a liar. Candy's not a liar. Now, one time while Kenya was saying what she was saying on Speak On It, Candy never denied it. She never said that is not true, that did not happen. Candy never denied it. But I'm going to continue. Portia decides she wants to come out and speak and let it be known that what Kenya is saying is not true. Some people may have power at Bravo, but I don't. And Then she said what she's saying is not true. Then literally in the exact same live, she literally told us the story, basically verifying what Kenya said was the truth. Portia, people just have to listen to Portia. Portia, she literally runs off oh my God, I'm so dumb. Oh my God, I don't know anything. Oh my God, the Underground Railroad. Oh my God, what's that? Like, she runs on that. So I need for people to snap out of that and start listening to actually what she's telling, like what she's saying. Because she literally said in that live and confirmed everything that Kenya was saying. Literally, she said she talked to Bravo because she knew that, once her and Candy got the situation cleared up, she talked to Bravo and, they all agreed that would not be a good fit for the show. Girl, that's you talking to them about taking a scene out. That's what Kenya said. I'm sorry. Like, when it comes down to her, Portia, I can't do her. Phaedra, can't do her. Drew, that first season, I could not do her. This season, no shame. I think the difference is Candy gave Bravo an ultimatum. Candace nor Chris did that. Girl. To be honest, it's a lot of people not even watching the show. To be honest with you, there's a lot of people not watching the show. There are a lot of people that literally watch the reviews of other YouTubers and stuff and don't even watch the show. To be completely honest with you. Let's just call it a spade. But let me I'm over here doing all this talking. Let me actually get to this Twitter. Okay, so let's get now. I was living for Candace this reunion because she was cussing Giselle the hell out. Now I gotta make sure my stuff don't be playing out here in these streets. Okay. She was cursing Giselle the hell out. Okay. Now I gotta make sure my girl. I didn't want you to play. Okay. Let me see. You are okay. So let's get into this actually. Now, I'm going to say this before I get into what I need to get into. Now, on the reunion, there were a lot of things that were present on this reunion. No shade. I know Portia isn't dumb, but she's not quick on her feet when caught off guard. But she's funny. I laugh at her liar. Girl, I guess I just can't do her. She irks my spirit because I'd be like, girl, what you lying for? You pissing me off. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I can probably get you lying to, like, if it makes sense. I could get why you probably not admitting that, you did something, but the only reason why you lying because the consequences can be really, really bad. I can make sense of that. But the way she be lying about everything up under the sun. I be like, why are you lying about that? Why are you lying? And then what be pissing me off is that the viewers be looking at Kenya like she lying. I'm like, Kenya hasn't lied on one person here, but you believe in a person that's known for lying. And then on top of that, you're gonna believe a lawyer whose lawyers are known to lie and bend the rules and change narratives. And then not only that, one that decided that she wanted to be with a convicted felon that was known for doing illegal activities, and then she sat up there on a stage trying to push a narrative that she did not know where Apollo's money came from. What you mean you guys have been married for the longest and you don't know where the hell his money comes from, and you're his wife? That doesn't even make sense, girl. I just can't. But yes, on the show, there were a lot of things present on the reunion. One, white privilege most definitely played a part. In terms of when it comes down to Chris, I want you guys to go back and watch it. The white privilege most definitely played a part. Now, in terms of the allegations, when it comes down to Chris, he better be praying. He better be praying to God that he is a white man. Because with allegations like that, if he was a black man or melanated, them allegations would have stuck. Them allegations would have stuck and would have been worse. Them allegations would have stuck and would have been worse. Because, baby, if he was melanated, if he was a black man, them allegations would have stuck like glue. Like a motherfucker. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm just going to be honest. And I want you guys to also notice, too, that whenever Chris was going off and he was getting real passionate, no one was tone policing Chris. Now, of course, Giselle, but that was only because she was trying to deflect from, really having that conversation. But no one tone policed Chris. No one told Chris, oh, no, you're doing too much. That's a woman. Oh, no, you need to bring it down. Oh, no. No one ever did that. No one tone policed him. No one, quote unquote, didn't understand why he was upset. And to be completely honest, they knew what lets me know that they know that Giselle is a bold-faced lie is because Robin, if you guys go back and watch, Robin addressed Karen about what she said about Juan and asked Karen, what you said about Juan hugging you so tight, were you implying that, he SA'd you? And so Karen cleared it up, and Robin let it be known that, and she quoted Chris, with allegations or statements like that, these things can stick. That right there lets me know, Robin, that you know what Giselle was doing. That right there lets me know you sat back and did not say a word just because you are really good friends with Giselle and you know what she's doing. And that lets me know that you were aware. And the fact that everybody else in that room knows it too. And then on top of that, when Ashley, and we're going to get into them too, when Ashley was talking about the different lies or the different stories that were told throughout the season in terms of Chris, her response was, she just put a little spunk on it. What you mean she put a little spunk on it? You mean she told a bold-faced lie? And then y'all sitting up here, girl, I'm gonna wait. But yes, no one tone policed Chris. And I was thinking about, I was like, okay, so if that's the case, imagine if that was Eddie, Wendy's husband, going at Giselle like that. I wonder, would they tone police him? Like, bro, you need to calm down. You need to chill out. And now that I think about it as well, you guys remember season 5 when Chris, was it Chris? I forgot this man's name. No, it was Chris. Chris Samuels, Monique's husband, when he addressed Giselle and Robin, and how all of a sudden they both of them went into their Karen mode. You lucky Juan is not here. You're lucky Juan is not here right now. First off, every season he's not there. Every season he's not behind you. Every season he's not present. Every season he's not in attendance. What do you mean? And on top of that, what the hell Juan is gonna do with Chris? With Chris Samuel's big ass? What is Juan gonna do? Let's just call a spade a spade. The cast didn't police Chris' emotions and tone, but the audience definitely has been all over social media. I checked a lot of people. No shade. I feel you, LOL. It makes a whole lot of sense. Robin also said that because of the criminal case that Juan is facing with his job. Remember how she acted when Monique's husband defended? Yep. And that right there lets me know they're into their they always want to go into their Karen mode. Chris has the right to go, but I definitely see your point. Colorism is alive and kicking. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. And the reason why I say that, even with light skin, like I personally don't call it a privilege. I even know in different conversations I use it so people can understand what I'm saying. But when light skins people, I really don't think it's like a privilege in a sense. I call it more of a consensus. And the reason why I say that is because as long as you're the lightest person in the room, you're going to have that privilege or that consensus or that upper hand. But let a white person walk in the room, your privilege disappears. So I don't know. I could be off. I don't know. I could be off. Yeah, but no one tone policed him or anything. But I want you guys to also pay attention how everybody was trying to tone police Candace. They were trying to tone police her, tell her not to speak, acted, and this is another tactic when it comes down to people trying to deflect. Everybody's trying to play dumb, acting like they don't understand. And even then, pay attention to this, even when Candace was going off on Giselle, you saw Robin's face. And to me, when Robin was making that face, she knew what Candace was saying was the truth. When Candace told Lizelle she was operating in her want to be a white woman privilege, I damn near TK. I know that's right. I know that's right. I was here for it. But we're gonna get into that. So let's read and let's go through some of the things what viewers had to say. Let's go through that. Now, one person said on Twitter, they said this: Mia has lied all season, spread rumors, assaulted Wendy, and tried to expose Jacqueline, but Candace letting Giselle have it is a bridge too far. Girl. Now it says here, interesting how Ashley has stepped back her knowledge of colorism and reneged on how she confirmed Giselle and Robin's European proximity in this clip. Ashley will say whatever for some cash and has sold out. And that's the thing that gets me with Ashley too, is that Ashley, you talked all that shit about Candace and quote unquote needing to quote unquote stand up for herself and being able to take care of her own. But last time I checked, you set up being Michael's tenant. You set up spreading yourself thin to that old white man that was sitting up there allegedly sucking on some BBC. And then you decided you wanted to be a housewife, a stay-at-home mom. You decided you didn't want to work. You decided you didn't want to have no assets. And now when you guys are starting to divorce and you think and you have a thought, you had an idea, a fantasy that you was going to walk away rich as hell. But the only thing you walked away was some children and broken shit. And with the house, with the mortgage that you can't even afford. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is the reason why I always tell people be self-sufficient. Be self-sufficient. Because after he got done with you, kicked your ass to the curb, and you ain't got nothing but some children. And if you believe that, once you start dating, and you have another man in that house, I personally don't believe Michael gonna pay that mortgage or pay those bills. Because guess what? He has the power. And that's the reason why, prime example, you have to be independent, self-sufficient. You never give someone the power over you in terms of funds. You have to be able to you're going to have to be able to float on your own and stop trying to depend on somebody else to help you float. Assistance is cool, but as independence, that's not, girl. Y'all have too many examples of that. Hey, Rainey, how you doing? But let's actually hit a clip of what Candace had to say, and she was reading the living hell out of Giselle. Where's she at? Right here.
All right. You are a garbage individual. You have no soul. Thanks, Candace. The fact that you will sit up here and act as if you are the victim, you are the reason that women cannot come forward with sexual assault and sexual
Baby, when I tell you, when Candace told Giselle, what's wrong with you, and I'm paraphrasing, is that your gutter snipe bitch ass. When I tell you, I had walked away from my phone. And I was still listening. When she said that, I turned right back around. I said, baby, now that's a read that I can fuck with. You supposed to get gutter with a bitch. When she said, yo, gutter snipe bitch ass lying on my family, I was like, yes, ma'am. I said, come on. And she said, even Giselle was shocked and flabbergasted. Baby. But I do agree with what Candace said. You're over here weaponizing allegations. You're over here weaponizing allegations, and there are bigger issues, and they're very sensitive. You should not be, quote unquote, weaponizing allegations like that. No shade. Baby, she read the hell out of her.
Conduct allegations, because you sit up here with your privileged, white-looking ass, and you think you can say whatever the you want to say, and no one is going to bat an eyelash. Wait.
Here we go. I was like, yes, Candace, yes. But I'm not gonna lie, I felt bad for Candace in this moment. No shade. I did.
Okay, great. That's a little far.
No, it's not. No, it isn't.
No, it's not.
No, it isn't.
Way too far.
No, it isn't. Your proximity to whiteness helps you to be able to sit up here and tell these lies.
You cannot sit here and call her white privilege when she's a black female. What is wrong with y'all?
It's the colorism issue that we just talked about, and you're still reintroducing into this group.
Let's call up Wikipedia.
Shut the fuck up, Mia. That shit. Once again, it really irks my spirit because, girl, honestly, they proved her point. They put the point. Girl, I'm over here. This lip balm shit's over here getting me crazy, girl. Go, bitch. Basically called her Black Karen, because that's exactly what the hell she did. Kicked up shit all goddamn season. Then when confronted about it, she act like she's a deer in headlights. Then after that, once they refresh her memory, all of a sudden she still attempts to flip it, because keep in mind she also told Candace, I think you made this issue bigger than what it was. Last time I checked, let's just rerun the tapes. Last time I checked, it was you and Ashley kept trying to bring the situation up. Candace kept trying to shut it down. Don't try to rewrite history. And Mia, please be quiet. Once again, this is another example of people who aren't qualified in certain conversations always trying to speak. If 2.5 seconds ago, if Candace and Winnie were really the only two that wanted to actually speak on the issue, and to be completely honest, they're qualified to speak on the issue, despite people actually saying as well, just because Candace has a white husband, she can't speak on colorism, even though literally in front of all of our eyes, she's experiencing it firsthand. When you don't know anything about said conversation, you need to ask questions. All of your statements need to be in question form. And the issue that I take with it is that a lot of times the people who aren't informed or educated on said subject be the loudest, like Mia and Ashley. But we're gonna get into it. First off, and then Mia had the nerve to say this. Call up Wikipedia. Who calls Wikipedia? Who calls Wikipedia? Who calls Wikipedia?
Into this group. Let's you to be able to sit up here and tell these lies.
You cannot sit here and call her white privilege when she's a black female. What is wrong with y'all?
And I'm glad. Let's also say this. Mia, shut the fuck up. Another reason why you need to shut the fuck up, once again. Last time I checked, when Candace was talking about colorism, you and also Ashley Darby and Giselle, y'all didn't know what the fuck she was talking about. You guys looked confused, you act confused, and from your statements, you don't fully get it or understand the nuance of colorism. So, yes, she can say that because there's a nuance and context in what colorism is. And you know what gets me too about this colorism conversation is that whenever we go to Basketball Wives, all of a sudden we can understand the colorism conversation, then we can have those conversations. But yet, when we start to get to Real Housewives of Potomac, everybody want to start playing dumb. But yet, when it was OG versus the whole group and stuff, everybody understood colorism then. But now when it's Candace and Wendy, all of a sudden people just, what? What are you talking about? And then what also gets me as well is that let's just swap out everything. Let's just say it was Candace and Wendy versus the rest of the cast was white. We will understand racism and be on their ass like that. But then yet when it comes down to colorism, which is a byproduct of racism, it's just in a melanated context. One has a darker hue and the other person has a lighter hue. But it's the same shit. Instead of white people, put light skins there. Duh. Girl, they be pissing me the fuck off. What is wrong with you, girl? You don't understand the nuance. Yes, her proximity to whiteness is the reason why she's able to make those allegations, but not receive the same repercussions that Phaedra Parks received. Not get the same treatment of being ganged up on at the reunion like Kenya and Nene have received. So yes, her proximity to whiteness does play a part in the way that you guys interact, aka Mia and Ashley coming to her damn defense. And also, and I'm gonna get into Wendy as well, coming to her damn defense. Even though, which is fucking stupid, Mia, 2.5 seconds ago, the same woman that you're coming to defense of literally accused you of embezzlement. Mia, you're a dumbass. Let's continue.
Colorism issue that we just talked about, and you're still reintroducing into this group.
Let's call up.
And that's the thing. Oh, I'm sorry. We gonna get through this goddamn clip. And that's the thing too. It's like Ashley with this reverse colorism thing. I'm sorry, it does not exist. Reverse colorism does not exist. Name a time in history where light skins were held back. Name a time in history where light skins were held back compared to darker skinned people. What people are referring to, what you're talking about are your feelings compared to real social issues. Light-skinned people may get their feelings hurt. Dark-skinned people are oppressed in a different way and affected in a different way. Two different things. Fuck your feelings. To be completely honest. If you had to compare the two, I prefer for my feelings to be hurt than for me to be oppressed in this actual real world. Just hurt my feelings. I don't care. I'll be okay. But as long as I'm able to still have the same opportunities compared to some of my other people whom you might, they're still melanated, but they're still, lighter in complexion. I still want to have the same opportunities, even though I just might be more qualified. But yet, since they look much different than I do, slightly different, they get the job.
Media. Andy, can I say something?
Yeah.
So, I know we just had the colorism conversation, and one of the takeaways was for us to be mindful of the words we choose. Candace, I love you. You're my girl. I got your back forever. You had stated something about her white skin.
Yeah.
I know you're angry, but I just want you to consider, on the heels of that conversation, just what that may imply. I understand what it implied, and I understand what I said. Okay. Yeah.
And I live for that moment. And then when I tell you, when she said that, I was like, yes, ma'am. I was here for Candace. She was like, I know what I said. And I know what I implied. And so, in so many words, the way I interpret that was like Wendy, I love you, but please shut the fuck up. That's the way now she probably didn't mean that. I'm pretty sure she likes Wendy and whatever, but she was like, yeah, I heard all of that, but I said what I said.
But I receive what you're saying.
Yeah.
So our conversation meant nothing?
Oh, the conversation
Actually, shut the fuck up.
still stands.
Okay.
But
it doesn't apply to you, though?
It doesn't apply to you, baby. What she's saying is truthful. Once again, if you don't have range in these conversations intellectually, you need to shut the fuck up.
Within the conversation, there has to be room for the argument that someone who looks like me making accusations about sexual misconduct is not often taken as seriously as someone who looks like you or you. That was the point I was making. Did I say it in a way that was inflammatory? Yes. Am I sorry? Honestly, I'm not. I have a level of vitriol and hurt
I know that's right.
directed at this person for the way that she has chosen to conduct herself that you maybe could not understand.
I don't think it was appropriate, but...
Well, we could spend days on what you've done and said. Do not address me.
I've never said anything about anyone's skin color.
Okay, Ashley, shut the fuck up. Reason I just can't take it is giving me that. Oh my God, it's giving me that you are racist too. It irks my spirit. Shut the up. Once again, if you don't have range in these conversations, please be quiet, ask questions. Because once again, when we start to get into the colorism behavior, coloristic behavior, what people have to understand as well, there are two, and I say this shit all the time, with oppressive systems of any kind, there are different ways to showcase, display, carry out these systems. So you have a very explicit way, and you also have a very subtle way as well. And all of these systems come with language. All of these systems come with nuance. And they also, all these systems come with programming and social conditioning as well. And this is the analogy that I always give. Think of it as solids and gas and liquids. Your solids, molecules, particles are so tightly packed, you can see the solid and it's clear. You can see this explicitly. That's one way to showcase a said system. Then you have gas. The molecules and particles are so loose that it's a possibility you might see it, because some gases you can see and some you can't. But there's also a possibility that you just might not see it and it just might go over your head. That's another way to display and showcase these systems. And whenever we talk about colorism, racism, queerphobia, misogyny, patriarchy, when I talk about those things specifically, I'm not only referring to the person that's actually directly, specifically doing the act. I'm also paying attention to the person that's laughing, that think it's funny. I'm also paying attention to the person that daps the person up, gives them high fives, hugs them, congratulate them. And I'm also paying attention, and this is the one that's that's exposing Ashley and Mia's hand, are the people defending the coloristic behavior. And that's exactly what Mia, and that's exactly what Ashley is doing. And also Wendy, in a sense, well, Wendy, I'm going to get to her. That's exactly what those two are doing in that moment. And then on top of that, last time I checked, Robin put her finger all in your face, Ashley, but she was not called or labeled ferocious. Why is that? Why is that? And the reason why they don't want to acknowledge or actually talk about the colorism is because then they have to acknowledge how they may have played into it. Because if you don't know, then 9 times out of 10, you probably have done it. But here's the thing. It's okay. It is okay to be like, oh shit, I had no clue I was doing this. It's okay. But once you become aware of it, that's when you actually make the change. Girl. Them heifers pissed me off. I'm not gonna lie. Like they pissed me the hell off. No shade. But look, I'm gonna read some more. So that was a clip. I already read this one. Now this one says, interesting how, yeah, I already read this one, but I'm gonna reread it. Interesting how Ashley has stepped back her knowledge of colorism and reneged on how she confirmed Giselle and Robin's European proximity. In this clip, Ashley will say anything for some cash and has sold out. And to be completely honest, because people were saying on Twitter is that basically Candace, and I said this kind of earlier, Candace cannot speak on colorism or whatever is because she's married to a white man. There are two different people that interracially date. You have people that are like Ashley and people who are like Candace. Candace can interracially date, but also be very educated and aware of the social dynamic and issues that oppress melanated people around the globe and be very knowledgeable about the nuances of those things. Ashley, on the other hand, who's aka Michael's tenant, can at least spread herself thin for old rich white man that allegedly likes BBC, but at the same time glorify colorism, amplify the system that oppresses melanated people, and then play dumb about it. Got you. But let's see what the people had to say, because let's also be very clear. Katie was calling out the Green Eye Bandits. So let's see what they had to say.
All right, I want to ask. Okay. All right, I want to ask Ashley your opinion. You're biracial. What was your reaction to all this?
I was just really surprised because the two women who have the most European features seem to make the biggest deal of race when.
Bam. So you know what Candace is speaking of. You know this. But let's get into it. I'm backing up a little bit more.
opinion, you're biracial. What was your reaction to all this?
I was just really surprised because the two women who have the most European features seem to make the biggest deal of race. When most of us embrace our naturalness, for some reason they don't.
What?
Coloring your hair blonde and straightening it is European. That is a very European thing.
My hair has been black. Like, come on, Ashley, come harder, please.
Yes.
I don't have to come harder for anything. You're both sitting here with blonde hair.
Nene Leakes and Mary J. Blige has blonde hair. Are they trying to be white? Come on.
But they don't preach about being black all the time. They have to preach about it. Just let people live. Yes, you guys did. Especially when Michael touches Andrew's butt. For some reason, it was everybody's prerogative to talk about it because it's a white person thing.
No.
Here we go. You know, y'all know I got to stop in between.
No. I need you to understand where that came from. No. Black dudes, they give you dap, they dap you up. Those are terms of endearment between black guys. That's how they greet each other. So because you were like, Michael can grab Andrew's butt, not a big deal. Maybe this is something that like white guys just do. I'm not accusing any race of being butt grabbers, but it was a question. I said, is this a white guy thing?
That is a loaded question. That is a loaded question.
Okay, so because really, that's my first time actually hearing that clip. Well, in front of y'all. I just want you guys to pay attention how all of a sudden everybody understands nuance. How literally, but by the way, let me know if you guys could hear that. I moved it close to my mic, but could you guys hear that, right? I'm pretty sure you guys could. But the fact that Ashley said of her mouth, basically letting it be known how Robin and Giselle have used or tried to get as close to whiteness, have proximity to whiteness, lets me know that she knows what Candace was referring to. Lets me know that she's very much aware of what Candace was saying. Then, as Robin and Ashley are going back and forth, and they're talking about there might be the cultural differences between black dudes, white dudes, or whatever. That lets me know that you guys understand nuance in conversations. So you guys have the possibility to have the range in conversations. And the fact that Ashley's response to what Robin was saying was that that's a loaded question. So that lets me know that you are aware, that you know things have context and are nuanced, and to your point, are loaded. So in the conversations of what Candace was talking about, referring to, y'all need to be asking questions for clarity instead of trying to defend a woman that accused you, Mia, of embezzlement. Hey, Tamara, how you doing? Hey, what's going on? Bye-bye. But let me continue.
You didn't say, is this something that white people do?
On the floor, cold.
Michael would never touch one. They're not friends. Andrew and Michael have a friendship.
But Andrew had a big problem with it.
Did Andrew have a problem with it?
He did not.
He did. And I saw him face to face.
And says that you didn't see it on camera.
I say it all the time. Mind your business. Mind your business, Giselle.
I've met Michael. He's never grabbed my ass. I feel.
You feel slighted.
Girl, what are these hoes? Okay. But let's continue reading. One person said the fact that they're forcing Candace to fix what she said and no one else is forcing Giselle to fix her statements is in fact colorism. And like I said, they were proving her point. Proving her point. How everybody came to the defense of, well, the light skins, no shade, Mia and Ashley came to the defense of Giselle to quote unquote correct what Candace said, but yet every single time it came down to what's your name? Giselle being able to clear up some serious allegations, everybody's mouth was shut. Even though everybody knows that was a dang lie. Another person says, whole season y'all cried about that woman being allowed to do stuff she does because of her light skin, aka when proximity to whiteness, and now when it's said out loud, it's too far. Give me a fucking break. Another person says, I don't agree at all with what Candace said. I'm glad she didn't. I don't disagree at all with what Candace said. I'm glad that she didn't back down when she was challenged by Michael Darby's tenant. Come on, Michael Darby's tenant. Another person says this, and let's be clear, just because a black person is married to a white person doesn't mean they all of a sudden exempt from experiencing racism, colorism, bigotry, prejudice, nor does it mean they can't speak on it and call others out for it. You dummies. Once again, there's a distinction between Ashley and there's a distinction between Candace. And to be completely honest, Ashley might be in the middle. She might be in the middle because she might just be playing dumb. Because what I just got from that last clip is that she understands nuance. She has the possibility of the potential to have the range, the intellectual range in these conversations. So I'm going to put her in the middle. But there's a difference between Candace and there's a difference between Mia intellectually. Another person says this, Ashley's response just now proved that she doesn't understand how colorism plays into their group dynamic and furthermore lacks an understanding of what colorism is. What Candace told Giselle just now isn't colorist because colorism can't win again. Never mind, I'm tired. And that's the thing too. If you don't know anything about colorism, how the fuck can you deny it? If y'all aren't educated on colorism, how can you be like, oh no, there's no colorism going on in this group? How can you deny it if you don't know what the hell it is? It took Karen to be able to explain it to y'all. And I think it's very interesting too. And this is the subtle shit you gotta, this is the subtle shit. This is the subtle shit. Is that when Candace and Wendy were explaining it, they just couldn't hear it. They couldn't understand it. But then when there's another light-skinned person, aka Karen, to explain it, all of a sudden they get it. That's the psychology. And that's the reason why allies are so important and very, very impactful when it comes down to movement and the progression of other people's lives. Because when you hear it from somebody that you're used to putting in a box or you're used to disregarding, it goes in one ear out the other. Compared to when you hear it from another Karen holding other Karens accountable for the racist shit that happens in this country, it hits different. Then you hear it from a melanated body that you have been conditioned to ignore. So when Candace and Wendy was explaining it, they couldn't hear. But as soon as Karen said it and got a little bit of assistance from Candace, all of a sudden, okay, it makes more sense. Now it says here, it baffles me how people are more upset at Candace's comment towards Giselle instead of Giselle's accusation of Chris. Y'all do understand that proves her point, right? Laughing emoji. Another person says this, colorism is Monique assaulting Candace and having to face the consequences of her actions. Meanwhile, Mia assaults Wendy without any repercussions. No shade. And this is the last one. Yeah, this is the last one right here. It says, thing is, people immediately jumped on Candace for her white privilege comment, but barely said a peep about Giselle and this SA reach. And that's exactly what Candace's point was. That's the point. Yep. That's the point. Everybody sat up there and, what? Huh? What you mean? Like, I don't understand. What's colorism? I don't understand what you're saying to me, Candace and Wendy. Oh, then Karen opens her mouth. Oh, okay. Okay, now I understand. And then You're quiet when Giselle is lying about her experience. I'm gonna call a spade. About he did something to me, lying about that, and purposely brought it on to the show. Then when Candace, who has been going through it through the media, through the audience, through viewers, of her husband being portrayed as a predator, and like Chris said, losing opportunities, losing money, having to explain it to his family, answer to his children, all hell breaking loose. And now when Candace has the right to get in that ass, everybody want to get upset. But last time I checked, in different conversations, and what irks my spirit too is other black women doing that fuck shit as well. What gets me too is that the black woman that's coming to the defense of Giselle and shit, y'all literally the same ones literally saying, black women, we can never be angry. We can never have emotion. They always want to put us as aggressive but then y'all coming in defense of a colorist statement on a colorist behavior to defend that, to stop Candace from having the range of emotions that she is entitled to have because of these circumstances. Y'all need to stop playing into your own oppression. No shade. But yes, in the colorism, they gaslit Candace. They whenever what's the girl named Giselle, when Giselle literally told her, "Oh, you made the situation bigger." No, she did not. You did. Candace tried to, shut it down. You guys kept trying to bring it up and let it be a storyline. You want to tone police Candace and say, you can't say that. Why you sound like this? Try to tone police her, make her the villain in the situation, even though she's the actual victim. Her and her husband are the actual victims of this, because Giselle was being intentional by not clarifying what happened until she had to. Then on top of that, everybody ignored her feelings. Ignored her feelings. Then on top of that, you defend you defend Giselle, which goes back to it again. Name a time when Nene and Kenya, front two chairs, sat back and everybody came to their defense. That's the colorism right there. You're proving our point. So let's clear the air. First things first. Now, in terms of Chris pissed me off too. He pissed me off too. I'm gonna tell you the reason why he pissed me off. He pissed me off because you need to have your wife's back. Stop trying to be cool and be friends with these other heifers. No shade. They are trifling. Do you not know you're trying to be cool, cordial, make up, and receive and accept apologies from people who literally try to ruin your life just because of your wife? Just because your wife is a cast member? They literally push narratives throughout the whole season. Ashley and Giselle. And you're trying to be cool with them? And the thing about it, you accepting Giselle's apology first off, it wasn't even an apology at all. It wasn't even an apology. And the fact that you're accepting that apology, first off, the reason why she's apologized is because it's the reunion. And that was the thing. She was going to keep it going until the reunion. At the reunion, is going to be resolved. Because guess what? That's enough drama to bring her back for next season. And she was very strategic about when she wanted to bring it up, how she wanted to say it, who to talk to, how to spread it, who to have by her side to help her spread it, aka Ashley. Then when to, quote unquote, give the apology. It was strategic when she gave that apology. And the fact that he accepted it. And I was glad when Candace said no. You need to back your wife up. These women, them other women, they don't see it for you, Chris, because they don't see it for your wife. And Giselle has a pathology of going after families. Now let's talk about what Wendy said. Wendy, I love you, but you should just sat there and ate your food. No shade. You should have just sat there and ate your food. No shade. Okay, so let me just change this because this other lip balm over here keeps getting dry, girl. So let me just do this one then. Right. She only apologized for the sneaky link. She never apologized for the other stuff. And that's the thing. When Candace was bringing it to your attention, Chris, you talking about she is apologizing. No, she wasn't. That wasn't an apology. That wasn't an apology. And to be completely honest, in that moment, what Wendy should have did is so everybody shut the fuck up, because what Candace said was the truth. Now, I'm 50-50 with what Wendy did, honestly. Her statement. It could have been, now, on one end of the equation, I believe the reason why, even though I still don't like it, but I understand it. I believe on one end, Wendy only jumped in to say what she said to give Candace the opportunity to clear it up for viewers and to make sure that her message does not get lost in translation. Be like, okay, I understand you're mad. I mess with you, and I understand. And you know, you said what you said. Be careful what that could imply. So that gave Candace the opportunity to say it with more clarity. For me, I already understood what she was saying, but for some people like Ashley and Mia, them, the you know, that section of the bus, they, to make sure that they understood or could have the possibility to hear what I heard when Candace first said it. But then as well, no shade, I still wasn't too much of a fan of Wendy coming in like that. I'm gonna tell you the reason why. Reason being is because, for one, what you should have did instead of going to Candace, you should have turned at I always forget her name, Giselle ass, and put your finger. Because remember, in a different, I'm gonna say part two, put it in part one or part two. One of them, Giselle pointed her finger in Wendy's face. It wasn't like close, but it was like about like up in here. Pointed her finger and said, "I don't like her." That's the reason why I don't care that Mia assaulted her. That I don't care, because I don't like her. So what Wendy should have did was point her long ass finger over and said, "Bitch, this is the shit we're talking about in these conversations. This bitch over here said some fuck shit about her husband. Everybody in this group is quiet. Then when Candace gets upset and digging this bitch ass, y'all two are coming in defense of Giselle. And then not only that, Mia, you coming in defense of a motherfucker who just accused you of embezzlement." So to be completely honest, if she wasn't going to do that, she should have zipped it. Zipped it. The same way Robin and Giselle zipped it when you were being assaulted, because they didn't like you. You should have just zipped it. I'm like, yep, she said what she said. You should just zipped it. No shade. But that's what it is for my video. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Team Candace, I was here for it. Gather them hoes. I was here for it. Let me see what you guys are saying. I really haven't been reading like that. I'm gonna go up a little bit more. Let me see. Okay, I'm gonna do it from right here. It says, no, Ashley backhandedly acknowledged the colorism that she acknowledged her light skin privilege. Giselle had a boundary that she crossed. Chris knew nothing about her boundary. The onus of her feeling was on her. She did it to herself. Giselle didn't protect her boundary. That wasn't Chris's fault. And that's the thing. When it comes down to it, she should have. Now, I do understand in certain situations, it's hard for you to say something. Like, it's hard for you to say something because in the moment you just might be nervous. You just don't know how to react or whatever. But the thing is that gets me is that my thing is, you can have your feelings, but he did not do anything to you. He didn't do anything to you. And the way that she worded it, she made it seem like he tried to brush up on her and then try to add stuff to it. Oh, he was my sneaky link. And this was the kicker. He was trying to see, and to be completely honest, she used sneaky link wrong. That's one. Two, when she said, oh, he was trying to see if I was down with it. Let me see. I think Wendy was being conscious in that moment and trying to help Candace avoid giving the light brights any ammo to use against what she wasn't actually inconvenient. But that's the thing too. I really hate that when we get on TV, we like to perform. But we need to start having the real conversation. Because let's call a spade a spade. These are conversations that we have back like behind closed doors. Or if you're like in these circles, like where we talk about shit like this. But what she said was the honest to God truth. And they proved her point. But to be honest, I felt like Wendy should have came to Candace's defense more. But I do understand that when she did that, I felt like she was giving her the opportunity to clarify. But I felt like she should have came to her defense as in, y'all hoes are wrong. Bye, 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 bye. Because right now we got bam, bam, and bam on my bitch back. Now, two, we could probably let it, I could probably let it slide because her mouth is lethal. But right now we got 3 on her and I ain't fucking with it. But if my girl let me know she got y'all, I'll back off. Bye-bye. Yes, he needs to just follow Candace's lead when it comes to the women. Yeah, I feel like he needs to. He needs to because they're gonna come after you. You're gonna be collateral damage. If they can't get to Candace, they're gonna try to get to you because they're still trying to get to Candace. Lizelle only apologized for the sneaky comment. Yep, she surely did. Even when Ashley and Robin knows that Giselle is wrong, they sit back quietly in her face. That's part of the colorism. Not held to the same standard. Lizelle's feelings were fraudulent because in past seasons, she was fumbling all over Chris. I honestly don't think the reunion or those type of shows allow a safe space to be completely transparent. It don't, but not all the time, no. They don't. Which is why I was living for Candace while she was standing in her shit. She was like, I said what I said, I meant it, and fuck her. They was like, are you sorry for it? They was like, to be completely honest, no. This lady had said so much messed up things about me and my family. I'll be lying to you if I said if I actually cared. And I said what I said, and to be completely honest, what she said was truth. Now I could possibly get and understand the opposing side of what she said didn't have no truth. But last time I checked, the opposing side, if you let them tell it, they don't understand colorism. So how the hell can you call somebody out on something that you're not educated on? Get it together. And that's why I always tell people, at least be educated on these said subjects. So at least if you're going to have an opposing side, you can be educated, and your response, your rebuttal can be very educated and you can have information and be able to rebut effectively. I'm just saying. For the first phrase, baby, I have to go somewhere tomorrow. I'm not gonna be back to the 12th. Girl. I'm gonna see y'all later. But that's really it for my video for today, guys. Make sure you guys thumbs up. Yes, make sure. I have a question. This is how I want to see. I gotta see how this is working. Let me see. Hold up. Let me see. Oh, that's what's going on. Okay, I see it. Oh, it took all of it down. Okay. Okay, so I want to make sure I let you guys know this while you guys are here. So as you guys can tell, because my super chats and all this other stuff hasn't been published and stuff. Okay, channel members. I said this before, but I'm gonna say it again. Channel members. Just so you guys are aware, it was a lot of videos I was trying to put up or whatever, but I can't currently put them up on my channels for my channel members as of yet. Only because as of right now, I'm getting a new ID. And with me getting a new ID, I have to verify my identity through YouTube, but my ID has not come in the mail yet. Once that comes back into the mail, once it comes back into the mail, once I get it in the mail and I verify with YouTube my identity, it takes just about a day. Sometimes it don't take like an hour or so. But I verify my identity. My super chats will be reactivated, and also channel members will be reactivated. Just give you guys a heads up. Also with Google, it will let you know if you will be charged or whatever. Most likely you will not be charged this month or whatever, but just to give you guys a heads up. But if you guys want to give any donations and stuff, this is what only thing I can accept right now is Cash App, Zelle, or PayPal. If you guys learned anything, if you guys like my live today, please let me know. Yeah. So with that being said, thank you guys so very much. That is it for my commentary video for today, guys. Please make sure you guys. Actually, let me do this. I actually forgot. Let me do this. Okay. Actually, no, I'll just do it next time. But that is it for my video for today, guys. Please make sure you guys pop that like button, hit the subscribe button, and please smack that notification bell so do not miss any of my posts from me. Till next time, guys, I will see you guys later. Deuces!